This is the Galaxy S24 Ultra. It comes with 12 gigs of RAM. It runs on the Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, which I'm told is what is going to be sold in the Philippines. But on top of that, one of the big changes in terms of hardware is the 50 megapixel 5x camera. Now, last year on the Galaxy S23, we saw 4 different lenses. So you have the 200 megapixel main sensor. Then you have 2 different lenses. One is a periscope lens, and then one is a zoom lens. Then finally, you have the ultra-wide lens. Now, out of these 4 lenses, only 3 of the lenses actually have OIS, or optical image stabilization. First, we have the 200 megapixel main sensor, which is what you'll be shooting with most of the time. It has the wide angle, and this is the default camera when you shoot at 1x. Next, you have the 10 megapixel 3x lens, and this is sort of a halfway house between the main sensor to the 5x lens. The 3x lens only has a 10 megapixel sensor, so it might make more sense to take photos if you're going to be zooming in with the 5x lens, because that is the one with the 50 megapixel periscope lens. Then you have the 12 megapixel ultra wide angle lens. When it comes to selfie, it's essentially the same configuration as last year. You still get a 12 megapixel shooter up front. And it's interesting to note that the 10x zoom actually uses the same lens as the 50 megapixel 5x zoom. And that simply makes sense because if you're going to be zooming in even further, you're going to want to be able to use a much better imaging sensor. And for the longest time, the Samsung Galaxy S Ultra series has been the gold standard for taking videos and photos in concerts, and I can't wait to see what the Galaxy S24 Ultra can do with its upgraded camera and lens system. So far, what we've seen is pretty impressive, but of course, we can't take out the phones from this enclosed space that we are shooting from. So we won't be able to scrutinize these photos and videos from up front. So we're gonna have to wait and see once the product actually launches. So I'm interested to hear from the people who attend concerts and events. When you go to these performances, what gear do people typically use? Do they use a Galaxy Ultra phone? Is it the S23? Do they use an iPhone? Do they use something else? Or do they use mirrorless or some other camera? Let us know in the comments. This has been Kuya Den. Subscribe to us. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Alam.